Okay. I don't know what I did. Hi, everyone. My phone, I have a new phone and a new channel now. But my phone just did something where it just started recording, and I don't know if I did a hand motion or what. But, anyways, hi. Again, this is a new channel because I got a new phone and I couldn't access my old channel somehow because the email there doesn't exist. Don't know how or why or what. But anyways, this is going to be my April reading wrap up. And I know it's in the middle of May that it's going to kind of get posted around. But I was getting over being sick and I had laryngitis. And I kind of still sound a little rough, I know, but hopefully it'll be good enough to where you can hear me and what I'm saying. And hopefully my phone cooperates since this is a new phone and I'm still learning it. But we're gonna start. I had a little reading post that I did, and I apparently when I went back and I was adding my stuff onto my little reading journal I have, realized I forgot a book. So I technically read 9 books, but I posted that I read 8 because I forgot one. So we're gonna get started. The first book that I read was The Wishing Game by Meg Shaffer, and that was a Book of the Month book add-on that I did. So Book of the Month is a subscription service where you can get a hardback book every month, and you can add on books for a little extra. And I got The Wishing Game as an add-on. Don't remember the original one I got for the month, but I have a ton of Book of the Months that I am behind on, so I gotta catch up on those. But The Wishing Game is by Meg Shaffer, and it's about a school teacher assistant, Lucy, who wants to adopt this boy named Christopher that she's met while being a teaching assistant, and his parents passed away and he's in the foster care system, and she wants to adopt him, but she doesn't have enough money because she's a teacher assistant. So her and Christopher bond over these books called the Clock Island books, and the author stopped writing them for a few years, and then all of a sudden he starts writing and he writes one copy, and he's doing like a game where a select number of people can come and win this copy and do whatever they want with it if they win. So they can sell it, they can publish it, all this stuff. So Lucy gets to be a selected contestant for the game, and of course she wants to win it so she can sell it and make a lot of money so she can then adopt Christopher. I gave this book a 5 stars. I loved it. It was so intriguing because it had riddles and puzzles, so it was interesting in that sense. And then it tied into the actual Clock Island series books that it's about, and it was just so interesting. I loved it, and it had this stuff about made it seem hopeful, and you wanted her to win and get this, but then you also feel bad because all these other contestants, you hear about what they're going through, and it's it just gripped at your heartstrings, and it was just so good. So I love that book. Next was Listen for the Lies by Any Tintera. I might be saying her name wrong. This one I got as an audiobook. First ever audiobook that I ever actually listened to, because I'm not a big audiobook person. I have to be doing something, because if I'm listening to an audiobook and then say doing something, I'm either my focus is on what I'm doing, eyes on, hands on kind of thing, or I'm listening to the book and I'm not doing anything. So this was an interesting one because I was trying to listen to the book, but then it's I had to make sure I was still doing stuff that I could do where my attention wasn't gonna be split. But this book, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So it was really good book, and I loved it as an audiobook because the story is that Lucy was accused of murdering her best friend in her small town, but couldn't prove it because she lost her memory. So she moves out of town, goes and starts a life somewhere else. But then it comes back to bite her because a podcast starts, a true crime podcast starts, where it's going back and delving into her past in the story. And so basically she gets uprooted and has to stop what she's doing, pretending that she didn't have this interesting story of murdering her supposedly murdering her best friend. And then her grandma convinces her to come back home and throw a party for her like 80th birthday, I think it was, or something. It's a big deal. So she goes back to help her grandma with her birthday party. The podcast guy basically is trying to get her to interview and is going back and interviewing all the people and basically digging up new secrets, new truths and all that. And I liked it as an audiobook, and I think I would have liked it better as an audiobook than an actual book because of the fact that it had dual narrators. So you had one narrator who would do all the chapter parts with Lucy and stuff, and then you had a different narrator who would actually do the parts of Ben's podcast. He's the one who's doing the podcast, and he would read them. And so I think I liked it as an audiobook for that specific purpose, is that it had the dual, and it like just felt like realistic and interesting. I did give it only a 4.5, and I think it probably would have been a 5, but I feel like the ending part had just it where there was just something about it where like I wouldn't have suspected who actually did it, but like the ending kind of there's just something about it that like annoyed me, like something about it I just did not like 100%. So, but that was a really good book, and I do like that one as an audiobook, so if anyone ever wants to. Next book was Loathe to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. First book I ever read from Ali Hazelwood. I've seen and heard a lot of different things, and it was the first one I got, and this one was interesting because I didn't realize at the time of picking it up that it was 3 short little novella stories, and it's about 3 best friends stories. So there's 3 girls, and it goes individually for each of their stories, and it has to do with what's the correct term, I guess, like they're like engineers or like environmental people, so they deal with stuff like that. And so it was interesting in the sense that like it didn't like delve too much into that, but like it did involve it somewhat, so it was interesting in that sense. And I did like each of the stories individually, so I did give it like a 4 stars. There was nothing like, oh my gosh, loved it. I do remember one part in the first little novella. I don't remember all the characters' names, I'm gonna be honest. That's also another reason why I think it's a 4 stars, because if I can't remember the characters' names just like off the top of my head, then it wasn't like that memorable to me. But the first one, I remember there was a part where she was getting upset because she was like, he keeps using my coffee creamer and he doesn't even drink coffee. So what's he using it? Or is he just pouring it down the drain? And then like at the end of the book, you're like, well, you never find out at first, you think? And then at the end, you find out that he's putting it in his smoothies. She's just like, who does that? And that part was just funny to me. That part I remember. Everything else, it's like here and there. Like again, I can't remember the characters' names, but like certain parts of their stories I can remember little pieces. But yeah. Next one. So this is the one where I forgot it, and maybe it was because it was in the middle of the month and like I had a bit of a slump with reading because I was so busy doing other stuff with my kids and doctor appointments that I just like skipped over it somehow, and like I read it but like forgot about it. So the next one is Just Don't Fall by Emma St. Clair, and it's a hockey romance book. I really like hockey romance books apparently. But basically the story is that Parker is like this social media coach for this made up hockey team, and they're not an NHL team, they're an AHL team, which I don't remember what that means. But basically they're not NHL, but they're not also college, so they're like an in-between kind of thing. almost like a community like one, but they're like really popular. And some of it's due to Parker and her social media like doings that they become popular. And so another player, he gets kicked off of an NHL team for like fighting a fan or something. And so he gets knocked down to this AHL team. And his goal is to go back, obviously, because he's like, I don't want to be here. I want to go here, make all this money, be famous, play for professionals. And so basically, he knew Parker from when they were kids, but he upped and just left, didn't say anything. He was best friends with her brother, stuff like that. She basically ends up having to deal with her dad and has issues with him. Don't remember why, but like somehow she says she's fake dating the guy, and then of course fake dating always turns into real dating later on down the line and stuff. So that's basically how that ends. That one was a 4-star. Again, it wasn't the greatest. There was parts of it where it's like weird because again, it's one of those things where it's like there's something always like missing, or that like I just feel like it could have been better or could have connected the story better. And like for me, like I think 5 stars always has to have like a connection, like emotionally. If I'm not crying or like feeling connected to the story or like sad or upset, like it's not gonna be any higher than like a 5, like I said. So, but that's the one I forgot to add to my little chart, was that one. Next is Tasting Red by Holly Roberts. And so this one is like a Little Red Riding retell story. And the references in this to Little Red Riding Hood are like so strong. So strong. So basically her grandmother is like the fairy godmother kind of thing. And so like her grandma makes like cookies. And like they're magical, so they help give humans like little bits of power or like energy or something, right? And she goes by Red because of her hair color. She has none, but her grandma's like a powerful like mage or wizard or witch or something. I don't remember the term that they used, but she's like one of the more powerful ones. But she's like a dead in her sense. And then I don't remember his name, but he was assigned to basically kill her grandma as a debt to this one guy. And he goes and tries to find the grandma and ends up coming across Red. And people are then trying to attack Red to get like a recipe. And then her grandma disappears, so he is trying to kill her grandma, but then the best way he thinks to get a hold of the grandma who went hiding is to pretend to be security detail for Red and help protect her. And then, of course, like there's all sorts of people trying to come after her. And again, she doesn't have powers, so she can't do nothing. And like there's just so much interesting stuff. I did love this book. I gave it a 4 stars. My only issue is that like some of the scenes, like it was just constant like spice. And like I wanted little less spice and little more like storyline and background. Like not till the end do you learn about like what happened to her mom and stuff, and that part was interesting. But yeah, so that one I gave a 4 star. Next one is actually the continuation of that, which is one of her friends. So next book was Chasing Goldie by Holly Roberts. And so Red has a friend. She has 2 friends. They all work at a bar. The next one is Goldie. So she has all these curls, golden hair. She basically is saying, hey, I'm going to go on a man ban. Basically give up men, right? Because she's tired of them because she has an ex that like, he just sucks. She inherits a house from her aunt. And she basically, instead of, I think she was in school, I think she takes time off of school to like try to fix this house, but she still has to work at the bar to make money to fix that house. And her neighbor is this guy, and he wants nothing to do with her. He likes his quiet little secluded area and only likes to deal with his 2 brothers. But one of his brothers keeps bringing chicks home And so he always has to deal with the awkward morning after where they're like, where is he? And he's like, he's not here. So he's like the big brother who like he just wants his peace and quiet, and he thinks the neighbor is disturbing it, Goldie. And then you learn, of course, that him and his 3 brothers are bear shifters. And the best part of that was a line in the story where it talks about like, hey, your name is Ted and you're a bear shifter. And he's like, don't even start. And she's like, so does that make you a teddy bear? And like that part was hilarious. I love that part so much. Love that part. But then you learn basically at the end that she's dealing with like people trying to come after her and like a stalker. And so the next door neighbor is kind of protective of her and like trying to figure out like what's happening. Oh, she keeps also randomly just popping up in his room, like his house. And at first he's mad and thinking that she's sleeping with his brothers and stuff while trying to fight his like need to want her, but like doesn't. So, oh, and in the other story, Tasting Red, the guy was a wolf shifter. So it was the big bad wolf and red. So again, heavy on the references for that. And then again, with Chasing Goldie, it was kind of a heavy reference on like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, because again, her name's Goldie. The guy next door, him and his 2 brothers are bear shifters, so they're 3 bears. So a lot of references to that. Also gave it a 4 stars. Again, there's some stuff that it's just like weird and like awkward and stuff. But there is an ending or like a twist at the ending that it's like, what? And stuff, so it's interesting. And they have another one coming out, I don't know when. It's called Igniting Cinder. It's the other friend in the trio for the bar that they work at. And so I really want to know about that one next. Just have to know. So that one was also a 4 star. There's that. Next is King of Greed by Anna Huang. I might be saying the last name wrong, but this one's interesting. So this is part of a series and I'm reading them all over kind of. So this is the 3rd book. And right now, currently in the middle of May, I'm reading the 2nd book, and I just bought the brand new 4th book, and I still need to somehow read the 1st book. So I'm kind of like flip-flopping around, but these are standalone books, but they're part of a series, so they're part of like, they're together. So like right now in the King of Greed book, you do get to meet the characters or know the characters from the 1st and 2nd book, and a little bit of course from the 4th. So that's interesting. But basically King of Greed is a second chance story. So Alexandra, or Ale as she goes by in the book, her and Dominic have been married for 10 years, but he's constantly working and like he misses their 10-year anniversary date. And basically she realizes that like he's missed so many dates, he's never there. Like their marriage, like it started out loving and caring and all this, and now she's like, I don't know who I am besides being his wife. And she's like it's time. She's like, it's over. So basically on the day that he misses their 10-year anniversary, she walks out. And then he's so confused because he's like, yeah, I'm working, but he's like, I've always been working. I'm trying to make money, because he grew up in a upbringing of like not having anything. So he's constantly trying to get more and more and more. And then when she leaves, he realizes, uh-oh, I effed up. And so he's trying to win her back, and she's trying to rediscover herself, because again, she focused solely on being his wife and helping him thrive and helping him with whatever he needed. So she's trying to figure out herself while dealing with being newly divorced and stuff. So it was really interesting. I gave that one a 4 stars. I won't lie, like her books right now are kind of like one of those ones where like it's really slow. Like they're good, but they're really slow, and it takes me a couple weeks to read her books and finish them. Because King of Pride I started like a while ago, and like I'm still not done with it. And there's books that I can finish that are 300-400 pages in like a day or two if I really am into them. And so these books are just a little too slow for me right now. Like, they're good, but they're slow. Just a heads up. But I gave that one a 4 stars. It was good. I do like the ending. It's interesting. There's some parts in it that you're like, wait, what? So it's really good. Last one is Faking It with the Forward by Angel Lawson. And this is a fake dating romance in college. And I'm noticing that the college ones, the ones in college, I don't like as much. Because there's just like petty stuff that like, it makes sense because again, it is a college, but like there's some petty stuff that I'm like, it bugs me. But I still will read them, but it bugs me. So like this one is a fake dating. The hockey captain, basically he had an ex that he was with for a long time, but she wanted him to go and play like right away in the big leagues, and he's like, no. He's like, I seen what happened to my dad where he went, he got hurt, and then he didn't have any other options. I want to get a college degree. I want to finish college, get a degree. That way I have a backup if I do go and I get hurt. And she didn't like that. So they broke up, and then the girl, I forgot the word, but she's like, she helps with their injuries, but she's not like official. Like she's pre-med, I'm guessing, or at least trying to like be like an athletic like person who helps with injuries. I don't remember the word or term that it was, but she's like an assistant. Like this is an internship program for her. She's like trying to do it to further her career, but like she's not official. But basically she dresses like a tomboy because again, she's around boys hockey. She's not trying to dress and impress. And so basically he kisses her in a coffee shop, and she's like, why? And he's like trying to make her his ex jealous, who just walked in, who he hasn't seen since he broke up with her. And she's laughing because she's like, you kissed me to make her jealous, what? And stuff. And he's like, you don't see yourself the way that you should, kind of. And basically they agree to fake date so that his ex will leave him alone. And she's trying to get back in the dating market because she had a really crappy ex who like hurt her self-esteem and like all this other stuff. So basically they agree to fake date, but the part that bugs me, I think, the most about this story was that they started to fake date, and then like as soon as they basically said they were gonna fake date, stuff happened to where it wasn't like really fake, and then they stopped fake dating to really date. But then like, of course, with her being like an internship and helping the hockey team, she didn't want to risk losing it. So she like was trying to keep it low, but then like stuff came out and she like, or something happened and she basically said I couldn't do it, and she ran away. And so the hockey captain is like, you know what? I really care for you. I'm going to chase after you and get you. So he does that, and then basically like they agreed to be back together, but she's still trying to deal with what to do with her hockey internship thingy that she's doing, like the health advisor, whatever again. So that's like I said, in the beginning it was, oh, okay, interesting. Middle, why? Like the way it went, it was just like I said, it went from fake dating to like almost right away real dating, and I didn't like it. And then the ending was just like weird and awkward, but like not horrible. So those are what I read for April. Like I said, it's the middle of May, but I do have it where hopefully by the end of May, I will have May's reading wrap up sooner than I did April. And hopefully it'll be not sickness and not busy, but we will see. So if you guys liked and enjoyed any of the stories, let me know. Tell me what you read in April or what you are reading in May. And then, of course, if you want, make sure you like and subscribe. And I will see you guys hopefully sooner rather than later. Bye.